Oh. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So yeah, Ed Fraser from Fraser's Garlic Farm, LLC, down near Churchville, Bergen, New York. I'm in my 25th year of growing and selling primarily a seed stock type of product with the garlic, etc. But I also do other vegetables. I started with Chris Headwater 10 years. 10 years ago, I was one of the original farmers to get things rocking and rolling with the Good Food Collective and the Food Hub, etc. Yeah, it's been a good ride. So they wanted me to talk about two things. One is this potato thing I've been doing. So about 4 years ago, I noticed I started growing potatoes as part of the vegetable operation, I don't know, 6-7 years ago or something like that, and people kept asking for more and more and more. But the seed stock became, kind of expensive to bring in. I was buying stuff out of Maine and Colorado. When you get something like 500 pounds of seed potatoes in, you have to have them shipped in. The shipping is a little pricey. Also, the potato was a little bit pricey as well. So I sat down and I started thinking, well, maybe what I ought to do is contact some local seed producers here in New York State and see if I can somehow get the potatoes a lot cheaper and be able to also get them to myself. And then I thought, well, why don't I help everybody else that likes to grow potatoes in the small farm network here in Rochester, New York, get their seed potatoes a little bit cheaper too. So what I did was I contacted the Uline Farm, which is the Cornell Foundation farm up near Lake Placid. And they gave me a list of the growers that are here in New York State. We wanted certified organic. We had Ken White up in Saranac Valley Farms near Lake Placid also. Unfortunately, he went out of business, and then we were left with no certified organic in New York State anywhere. But he is back growing now, and so now we have another producer that's certified organic, which is good. But at any rate, what I ended up doing was, I remember that first year, 4 years ago, 16 of you guys wanted me to see if I could source, a number of varieties from these farms up there and get them down here, and we would distribute them in April, and then people could come and get them, and they would pay a little bit towards the shipping. We would split the shipping. When you're bringing in like 10 to 15,000 pounds of seed potatoes, it gets to be a little bit pricey. So I had to get a transport truck to bring them in, et cetera, and we would split the cost. It became very, very economical to do it that way. So we had the distribution in a couple of other places until this last year, and I got thinking, these other places are not really optimal. The space was a little bit small, plus, well, the Victor Apple Farm, unfortunately, they had a fire, so that was going to be out. And then I got thinking, gee, Chris has got this big, beautiful area right here, and he's got a forklift. We can take him off the truck, and we can move him around even. And he has people there to help, maybe, if I needed it. And so I called Chris, and he said, let's go with it. So this year, we did this potato distribution right here. We had pallets all set up over there. We took the potatoes off of the transport truck, brought them in, and Chris and staff and myself split them all into everybody's orders, and then people came to the hub and picked them up. So instead of paying something like $2 and $3 a pound for seed potatoes, I mean, some of these farms are pulling in 1,500 pounds, et cetera. I pulled in 2,500 pounds this year, and I didn't want to pay the shipping on that out of like Colorado and Maine and things like that. So, people were paying like between 60 and 80 cents a pound. So that's pretty doable. So that's worked out really well, and I really have to thank you, Chris, for us being able to use the hub in that way. So if anybody can ever think of any other possibilities for using the hub in kind of an alternative way, bring things in and distribute them among all of the local farmers. That's a good thing to do. The other thing that I want to talk about is I've been in the garlic business now for 25 years. Probably about 12 or 13 years ago, I was still growing 3 and 4 acres of garlic, and intensely, etc. And I was beginning to run out of soil. I was beginning to run out of labor. And I thought, and my market was going up constantly. You know, I ship garlic all over the U.S. And more and more people were buying from me because I was always sending out a really nice product. We get it tested for disease, et cetera, et cetera. And one of my friends came to me and he says, you know, I'm having so much trouble selling my little half an acre of, you know, seed garlic. You know, what's your secret? And I says, well, I don't know, you know, you just got to get out there and start beating the bushes, you know. Then he said, is there some way that you could sell it? And I said, well, let's talk about that. So for that year, I was on this person's farm off and on. I said, I'll sell your garlic for you, but you have to grow it the way I want you to grow it, and you have to post-harvest handle it the way that I want you to do it, and you have to use the amendments that I want you to use, etc. So because I have a lot of knowledge about how to grow garlic, and not everybody has the same situation. I also needed to find out what types of soil this person has, what their climate is usually. You know, do they get more rain than I do? Do they get less? What kind of equipment do they have? You know, that types of thing. What do they have for a post-harvest drying area, etc. So that all worked out. I bought their garlic from them for, you know, I give them probably as much money. I was giving them more money than what they were getting normally because really they're doing a lot of work. So did that. I upcharged it a little bit to take care of all my time, etc., and my marketing. And that's how I make my money off of someone else's garlic. Plus, my customer gets a really nice product, and I don't have to worry about diseases because we get it all disease tested, et cetera, et cetera. So as years have gone by, again, my market continues to increase, and more people have come to me and said, okay, I'm growing all these other vegetables, but I love growing that acre of garlic out there. But you know, I'm just having trouble that time of the year marketing it because I'm in farmers markets, I'm doing all kinds of other things, etc. You know, will you buy my garlic? So I did the same thing. Now I have 4 farms that I work with. I still grow, depending on the year, anywhere from 1.5 acres to 2 acres of garlic myself. But now I'm actually selling somewhere around 25 to 30 acres of garlic out, you know, in the market, you know, to CSAs, other farmers that want to get into it, backyard gardeners, whatever. And it is a lot of work on my part. It's not like I can just sit there and say, you know, here you go, you know. I have to actually start working this time of the year, you know, and all throughout the year, and different marketing ploys. And now I'm into social media. Oh my God. Oh, you know, I've actually had to hire somebody to help me with it because I'm not from that generation, and from your generation or whatever. I'm now 66 years old, and you know, we didn't have computers back then, and the social media is like a little foreign to me. So, but it is helping me a lot, and also through the Cornell agritourism program, they've helped me a lot with the social media thing too. So we're working on that, and that is helping to expand the business even further. The other reason that I want to tell people that I'm not growing 25 acres myself, because I know how to do it, okay, is because once you get bigger, you know, in agriculture, all right, you begin to lose control of your quality. All right, I've seen this happen with more garlic farmers than I can count on these 2 hands. And then you go out of business. All right, well, you can't control all the labor very easily. You can't control disease very easily, et cetera. And what you end up with is a product that you probably don't want to send out. Many cases in point, I can point to a lot of people who have tried to do that. But what I recommend to people is in the garlic business, just stay, you know, from the 1 to 5, maybe even 10 acres if you want to get that big, you know, type of thing, and do a good job at it. And then, you know, you should be able to develop a good product. But it's been a really good thing because these other farmers that I work with, they're making plenty of money off their garlic. They're very happy with it. And they're very happy with the fact that they can grow. They're very happy that they have access to me, that I come onto their farm 3 and 4 times a year. And we're talking constantly on the phone. I mean, it's not like I knew everything I know today 13 years ago either, because, you know, certain things change with product. You know, we had garlic bloat nematode come into the area for, what was it, 6, 7 years ago. Well, we had to deal with that. And we have white rot popping up, which we never had here in New York State since the 1930s. So now we have to deal with that. So, I mean, there are a lot of things that we have to continually work with, et cetera, and change. But these farmers are just real happy that they have someone that they can go to, that can buy their garlic, that can pay them a really good amount of money so that they can pay their workers well, et cetera. And I'm happy because I can send out, I love talking to the customers. Customers have access to me not only online, but they have access to me by phone. And I get calls from people all the time, you know, wanting to know a little bit about how to grow it, you know, et cetera, or wanting to know a little bit about certain varieties and stuff like that. They just want somebody to talk to rather than read what I put up online, et cetera. And I like doing that, so that's just something I like to do. Some of these farmers don't like to do that. They're busy with other those, or some of them just don't like to talk to people. They just like to talk to garlic. So, yeah. So anyway, those are the 2 things that I've been involved with, among other things in the world, but you know, that's about it. So if anybody have any questions at all?